Hello guys, welcome back to Project Good Enough. Last week, I got the cab corner taken care of on the driver's side. It turned out really good, I'm really happy with it. Sitting here looking over the passenger side, trying to decide what I want to do. There's a couple little holes on the bottom I kind of want to take care of, but then part of me is like, just leave it alone, who cares? I think we'll just do a couple patches on it. It'll make me feel a little bit better, even though I don't know, the belt line on this truck is really rusty and it's really bad. So it's not like the cab's gonna be 100% sealed. So I don't know why I'm so worried about sealing the cab up. Maybe because it's Arizona and it's super hot in the summertime here and I don't want to leak air conditioning. There's a whole bunch of little holes on the firewall I wanna get sealed up and welded up. And once I get all those little holes filled in, we can go ahead and flip this thing up, finish seam sealing it, and we'll spray it. Sorry if you feel ripped off on the last video that I didn't get it done in that video. I was hoping to, but it just didn't work out. Okay. I think that'll work. I'm good with it. Cool. Okay, we got that one in. This one will be a little trickier because it curves this way and it curves this way. Well, it's too much, of course. If I can kind of get it to lay up against the body good. Decent anyway. So that needs to go that way more. I'm really close, but I'm trying to fit it inside this seam that's already cut. But what I'm gonna do is I'll just do a cut and butt on it, but I'm really close. I'll just cut along it and get it to fit in there nice and tight. Okay guys, I got it. It's definitely not pretty. I was having a heck of a time right here. It was wanting to implode. You can probably see it in the shadow. There's a big dent here. That sucker was just shrinking and sucking in on me. So anyway, it is what it is. You know, and the flatbed too is gonna be somewhere right in here. So all this will be covered anyway. I just wanted to get that big hole underneath filled in as best I could. So I'm gonna call that good enough, you know. I think by the time we put some paint on it to try to blend all this in to match it, it's gonna look just fine. All right, I'm gonna spin this cab around and we can start working on the firewall. Basically got everything filled in. It's good enough anyway. I'm kind of over it. I just want to get this thing sprayed. And I just got that filled in, just kind of quick and dirty, but that works just fine. And then once it's undercoated, it'll cover it all anyway, so it'll look fine. So at this point, I think I'm ready to just finish seam sealing. There's a couple little spots that I need to get and take care of. I'm just gonna throw some primer on the bare metal spots real quick, and then I can get it off the table and we'll get it flipped up in the air very carefully. I just spent the better part of an hour Finished seam sealing everything, and I forgot about one thing that I had to weld up, so I got that done. And then I've got everything taped off. Good enough anyway, it should be fine. I don't know how well this stuff sprays. I have no idea how it sprays, you know, as far as how far it travels, you know. So I've got everything taped off pretty good, and we should be in good shape, hopefully. I just put the hardener in the can. Let's see what happens. Oops, starting to spray out of the can there. Can's not sealed very well. Oh yeah, splattering it all over myself. All right, well, I apologize for the poor video quality here in these next few clips while I was spraying this. Unfortunately, the GoPro really struggles with the two different lights underneath the awning and then outside. And it was getting later in the afternoon as well. But yeah, I spent the first, probably, I don't know, the first quarter of this first can just trying to figure out the spray pattern and how the gun acts and how it lays down. And then once I got that figured out, I went ahead and just hit it. But yeah, this stuff sprays really, really well, goes on nice and smooth, but you'll see the finished product here towards the end. I know, I should have started on the bottom. I don't know why I didn't. So far, pretty good. It looks good. I like it. It's got a good texture to it. I really didn't want to use another can, but I have no choice. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to let that flash off for a minute while I'm getting this ready. Go ahead and put one more coat on the bottom of it and then drop the thing down. I got to finish taping up the top part of the firewall. Knock that out real quick, and then we'll just blow the rest of the firewall, put a couple coats on that. So I don't know how long this stuff lasts in a can. Hopefully it'll last, you know, half an hour or something, 15 minutes, but okay, round two here. Now I gotta keep the chains off of it. Okay, now. Okay. Hopefully there's enough in here. There should be. I'm not going to go much more on the edge. I don't want to push my luck and push the paper away, so I just got one coat on it, and I'm going to leave it alone. All right, well, that wasn't too bad. That stuff sprays pretty darn nice, actually. Take a look at it. It might be hard to see in this light. I might have to show you tomorrow in the daylight, a little bit better daylight. It's kind of later in the evening. I got one spot a little heavy right there, so that's still wet. But the texture of it, there, that's a good light right there. Looks good. I'm happy that's over with. Man, that feels good to have something like that on here. All right, I'll check back tomorrow. We'll look at this thing in the daylight when it cures out. Woo-wee. I don't know. Maverick or COE day? What should we work on? I guess we'll work on the COE today. Last night, while it was still wet, I went ahead and pulled all the tape and paper and everything off. And sorry about the light. As I am saying this, I was looking at some of the clips from yesterday, and sorry about the lighting under here. It just didn't show up right, but that's all right. It's not that big a deal. Ooh, yeah. Daddy-like. It's turned out pretty good. There's a couple spots here and there that are a little shinier than others, and I think that's maybe just because of my inconsistency in the spray. But it looks pretty darn good. Let me go get a light. All right, see if that's any better there. Yeah, it looks really good. It's really smooth. I really like it. Fills everything in really nicely too, all the voids in between the welds and all that. It filled all this stuff in really nice. Then even where I filled this in, welded this all up, this looks great, fills it all in. Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, what I do like about this stuff too is it's nice and smooth to the touch. You know, it's got a great feel to it. A lot of these cheap bed liners, I always worry about them because a lot of them are like, it's like rubbing your hand on 36 grit sandpaper. Some of them I've felt, they were kind of terrible, but this feels like it's a really good product. It's really nice. I remember watching a video too, as far as the tape line goes, somebody was saying when this stuff is still a little bit wet to get your tape and everything off. That way it leaves a nice crisp edge, and it sure did. It looks great. Really nice edge all the way down. Completely transforms the look of the truck, that's for sure. All right, let me lift this thing up. Let's look underneath. Okay, I don't want to be under here any longer than I need to be. But everything looks really, really good. Well, it looks like I missed one spot right there a little bit. I can get that later. I didn't do this area because I need to fix these corners, and I'll get that later. And then the cab corners, the inside corners look really good. Couple little spots here, you know, on the backside where I couldn't quite get to it. Oh, that one too I missed pretty good. Looks like I missed a few of them on the backside, but I can touch that stuff up later. And then this one over here looks good too. Yeah, I thought I was able to get those a little better when I was under there. It felt like I was, but I guess I didn't. But like I said, I can just hit that with a brush or a nappy roller. Since this video is probably looking like it's going to be a little bit shorter because I got that firewall done and everything fairly quick, is I'm going to go ahead and finish the bracing on the tree work. I want to get this thing taken care of so we can start to get this finalized and get ready to put the cab on for the final time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a couple supports here that go forward to the frame on both sides. Back here, I need to fix as well. I moved this engine underneath the cab. I had to cut this connecting bar out that connected these two together. It seems like it's okay, but I do want to give it a little bit of extra support because it is a lot of weight out here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this really simple. So I'm just going to put a bar in. So the bolt for the body mount goes in right here. And then out here on the end, I've got room, and I'm just going to run a bar diagonally straight down to the bottom of the frame. And then we'll put another plate down here and we'll just bolt it up. And then we could just clean this tree work up, and I'll pull it back off and we'll just shoot some paint on it and call it good. This square, this is 2-inch. This is too big. I was thinking about just using some rectangle, and I could just basically grab it from up here and come down, I think. Basically just do something like that. I'm just gonna hold this against the frame and the bar. All right, I got this rough cut. Just gonna be a little tighter over here because of the steering. I think I'm gonna relieve this bracket just a little bit, give myself a little extra room. See how that fits. Is that any better? Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this for the other side. Yes, I do use the reciprocating saw. Now, I do absolutely love that cold saw. It's fantastic for doing straight cuts, but doing any kind of angles, just adjusting the fence on that thing, it's just not accurate, and it's a pain in the butt, so I don't bother. So anytime I have to do angles like that, I freehand it usually, and then I can just clean it up with the grinder or whatever. I think it's Evolution. I think it's Evolution. They make a new one now that is like a miter saw, but it's for doing steel. So the whole base pivots and everything. It's, oh man, I want to get one of those pretty bad. I think they're like 800 bucks, 900 bucks, something like that. I'm just not ready to buy one though. Not yet, maybe later. So what I do on an angle like this is I'll come in straight. Get a little bit of a notch going, and then I'll turn it. All right, that should be pretty darn close. Yep, close enough for this thing. I'm clear on the bracket. Get a couple bolts up here. I think that's fine. Yeah, that'll work. I get a nice weld all the way down that, all the way around, and then onto that plate. I'll probably put a bolt up here and then just one back here, and that should be plenty. That looks pretty good. They're pretty even. That's one thing, the stuff that I built here for this tree work is way stronger than the original one was. That original one, the front mounts on the original cab over mounts, they were pretty strong. They were pretty thick metal and wide, and those took care of the front and back movement. But the rest of it, for the most part, was sheet metal, you know. So this is definitely above and beyond what it was originally, I think anyway. Before I weld this out, I'm gonna go ahead and drill these holes for the bolts first. I know what some of you are thinking. Wally, where's the mag drill? Well, you can't always use the mag drill, unfortunately. All right, let's get after it here. Weld it up. Weld it out pretty good. It's a little close here. I'll have to do like a little relief grind on the weld right there. I would have made these brackets a little bigger, the plates anyway, but I already had them, so I figured, I'm just gonna use them. And then we will just cut a piece from here down. I'll probably make it 20 inches. Yeah, let's do 20. All right, I got a piece mocked up here, and I'm just trying to figure out my angle down here. It's a pretty steep angle. I've got this upper one cut. So I'm gonna try to trace this, but I need to hold it, and I only have 2 arms. I'm gonna try to do this. Just putting a piece of flat plate on the frame to the tube. Okay, it's a pretty steep cut. I was thinking about just leaving it square and just welding it on the bottom down there, but I didn't want you guys to yell at me and call me a hack. I'm kidding. All right, let's see what that looks like. Should be close-ish. Oh, hell yeah. We're good. Completely missed. Missed again. 3 times. 3 times. Okay, looks good for my house. Cool, that'll work. It does look a little weird with this extra one in there, but I don't know, it is what it is. You can't see this anyway. It's all buried underneath the cab, so I'm not worried about what it looks like. Clearly, we're not worried about what it all looks like. All right, that's gonna work. I still got plenty of room for the bolt. I mean, the bolt goes in from the top. I think I still have room to put it in this way. Yeah, I do. Plenty of room for the washer. I think I can just get a wrench on there, so yeah, we're good. Okay guys, we got her. She's done. Got this side all taken care of. Everything's drilled and welded up. So now, I think I'm gonna go ahead and throw some paint on this thing. I do wanna paint this structure because of the tan. I don't like the tan. Before I put this cover in up here, this structure here for this thing, the tan color, it used to be a sun sail, a shade. So yeah, I chopped that thing all to pieces to make this. Steel's expensive, so I didn't want to throw it away. Now, something else to think about is I was thinking about originally painting this entire frame, but now I don't know if I want to. Okay. Ah, that's good right there. I think if I just flip it over, good Lord. Back it up. Whoa. I think at the very least what I'd like to do is pressure wash that thing, because there's a lot of built up heavy grease on the front end of that thing. And I would like to get some of that off of it. So that would be worst case scenario. But as far as a full paint job, I don't know. And then as far as me talking about being done by April, you know, beginning of April sometime, it's a goal, but you know, I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen now. I think I'm just gonna be realistic about it. It would be nice, but it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. Even if it's in the middle of the summer, a couple months after that, it's totally fine. Yeah, I don't know. There's still a mountain of work to do on this thing, so it's, the more I can speed up the process, the better. I'm just gonna shoot the bare metal stuff with this and the welds. I'm not gonna paint all the white. All right, we're done. All right, she's got a couple coats of satin black on it, so it looks pretty good. Couple runs in it, but whatever. We're not gonna worry about that. Looks nice and clean. All right, now as far as the rest of the chassis goes, you know, this thing still has all the original paint and undercoating and everything on it. Like, this is all the original undercoating, so it still has all that on there. And the thing is when they built this motorhome, the crappy thing about it is they built this thing, and then when they sprayed all the undercoating on the motorhome and everything, they just fogged the whole thing. So the motor has a coat of undercoating on it, overspray all over it, and the whole chassis is just completely dusted in it. So that's why I was just thinking about leaving it alone. And it doesn't look that bad, really, with all the original undercoating and stuff. And again, the front end's got a lot of heavy grease buildup, stuff like that around the control arms and, you know, ball joints, of course. So I was thinking worst case scenario, what I'll do is I'll just go get a pressure. I'll rent a steam cleaner, I think, and I'll steam clean this whole front end, get all these steering components and everything clean, get the frame all good and clean, and just run it the way it is. I mean, yeah, I could paint it pretty easily right now, obviously, but then I would want to paint the engine, and I really don't want to get into, you know, diving into that and painting that thing either. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Should I paint it or just leave it alone? But I know it's a good time to do it. So it's me and my indecisiveness. I get it. Well, that's done. The cab's all ready to go, essentially, for now. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that thing off for a couple days and let it dry. And now I can go ahead and I'm gonna tackle the other stuff. So the next video, we'll probably just go ahead and get the headers done, get the power steering hooked up, get the brake lines, all that kind of stuff. We'll start getting all that stuff figured out. All right, well, it's looking good. I'm really happy. A lot of good work this weekend, got a lot done, and I'm starting to make good forward progress here. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Have a great day, and see you on the next one.